Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just DCTV as a whole. So we are at the time of the year in which there is a lot of things being announced in regards to the next season of TV, or the one that's coming next, whether it be for the CW or any other network going on in the United States of America. And these announcements mostly have to do with new shows that are in development and hoping to be picked up for either a pilot or preferably a full first season. Now, in the most recent year that has gone past, we had a few DC TV shows lined up for development, some completely new, and some were potential spin-offs of already existing shows or shows that were ending. These shows were Green and the Canaries, Painkiller, Naomi, and Wonder Girl. Now, of course, Green and the Canaries was the spin-off from Arrow. Painkiller was a spin-off from Black Lightning, and then we had Naomi and Wonder Girl, which were the new original shows in development. Now, out of those 4 shows, only one made it, and that was Naomi, which premieres in just over a couple of weeks from now. Now, in this video, we are going to be going over a new DC TV show for the CW in development, which has people talking in some detail, whether that be for it or against it, and we will also go over some Naomi promotional material that has opened up the level of intrigue towards the show from those online. Now, just quickly, this is my first video following Christmas, so I just hope everyone had a good Christmas and time with family. If you celebrated, if not, happy holidays. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I love this time of the year, so I had a good time, and I hope everyone else did as well, or had the best time they possibly could. But yeah, of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comments section down below your various thoughts, opinions, theories, predictions, general, level of intrigue heading into it, something like Naomi as well. Just let me know all that in the comment section down below. I'm always curious to read it. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, you just want to show your support for the channel, why not drop a like on the video to do all that. So first up, let's talk about this, latest addition to the DC TV slate on the CW, or, actually, might I say, the potential addition. That's probably the best way to put it, as this was only announced as a project in development, and that is Gotham Knights. So this new project hails from current Batwoman writers Natalie Abrams, James Stotterow, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Chad Fiviash, not too sure how to pronounce the two dudes' names. But yeah, Stotterow and Fiviash, that's how I'm going to just go about it in this video because I'm not too sure how to pronounce it. They're going to be the executive producers on the show. Not too sure if they're, if it gets picked up, whether they're going to be co-showrunners or one of them will be the head showrunner. I'm not too sure, but yeah. And also Belanti Productions will be the production company that it's under, like all the other Arrowverse shows, as well as Stargirl, Doom Patrol, and Titans. Those shows are all under Belanti Productions. Now, Gotham Knights is, of course, based on the characters that are created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. For the most part, that's just, anything that really exists in Gotham, they just say that they're made by them. However, it is not a spin-off of Batwoman, nor is it tied to the upcoming Gotham Knights video game. There will be confusion around that, but they're making sure to say that there's not direct connections between those. However, we do have a brief description of the show that doesn't name any specific characters outside of Bruce Wayne, aka Batman himself, but yeah, let's give that a read. In the show, in the wake of Bruce Wayne's murder, his rebellious adopted son forges an unlikely alliance with the children of Batman's enemies when they are all framed for killing the Caped Crusader. And as the city's most wanted criminals, this renegade band of misfits must fight to clear their names. But in a Gotham with no Dark Knight to protect it, the city descends into the most dangerous it's ever been. However, hope comes from the most unexpected of places, as this team of mismatched fugitives will become its next generation of saviors known as the Gotham Knights. Now, my initial thoughts on this are one of intrigue, but also confusion to an extent. Like when it showed up on my newsfeed for this first time, I didn't really know what to think of it. I do have to start off by saying that I am getting a bit sick of all the Batman related stuff that isn't actually about, Batman, but they use Batman's popularity to sell it. It's not just the CW, it's other stuff as well. It just comes across as a bit lazy and cheap, and it also weakens Batman as a whole. I think that product as a whole, I think it weakens it. I'm looking forward to most of the DC movies coming out next year and the year after over the Batman, just because the overuse of the character and also Gotham City as a whole, because at least those other movies will seem like a breath of fresh air and something new, even though I am still looking forward to seeing that new iteration of the Batman character and what they're doing there, but yeah. Now, the difference with Gotham Knights, from what I can tell by the description, is that for the most part, all the characters will be original characters or new characters in live action, as we are having the adopted son of Batman, who isn't named. They don't say a name for it, so that could be a completely new character in general, not from the comics. And then we're having the children of various Batman rogues as the other members of this Gotham Knights squad. So at least there is some fresh take in that area, if they're actually all new. The adopted son could literally be any of the Robins from the comics, though, outside of Damian Wayne, of course, who was actually Bruce Wayne's legitimate son. So Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, Duke Thomas, anything like that. Like they could be this, adopted son, this rebellious adopted son. But I guess out of that bunch, Duke Thomas is the more likely choice, as the other three of Dick, Tim, and Jason are all characters on Titans. And of course they say son, so it's a male, so it's not like any of the female Robins and aliases and allies of Batman in the past. Now, of course, as I've already said in this video, Gotham Knights is labeled as not being a spin-off from Batwoman, which some might think it means it is not in the Arrowverse, which easily could be the case. It could be completely disconnected, and I'll give a reason as to why that, another thing that supports it in a second, but it doesn't say it's not in the Arrowverse, unlike Naomi, which was said to be not in the Arrowverse from the get-go. It just 100% means that Batwoman as a show won't be the setup for this Gotham Knights show, like Arrow was for The Flash, or how Arrow and The Flash were for Legends of Tomorrow. But I mean, Bruce Wayne is absent from the Arrowverse at the moment, missing in action, and the Gotham Knights description is making it seem that Batman was active in Gotham and then killed. So that does suggest it at least runs at a different time than the current Arrowverse timeline at the very least, if you want to believe it is on Earth Prime. And even then, even if it is in the modern day, like the present timeline, they say, oh, Gotham's left unarmed, but Batwoman's meant to be there. Now, we should know by like February or March if anything is happening with this show, as that is when they film pilots. And I must say, if they film the pilot for this show, it'll probably get picked up for series. It's pretty rare they film pilots and then don't pick something up, because money gets invested into it, unless it's a backdoor pilot. Those are usually the shows that film pilots and then don't get picked up because they're using another show's budget to make that backdoor pilot. Now, the major thing that goes against this show is the existence of Batwoman. So it's sort of funny that there's 3 Batwoman writers and Batwoman producers doing this show, because the show that they're currently on, or at least the show they're on before jumping onto this one, is the one that might not allow Gotham Knights to get picked up, just because they could be doing some of the same stuff. It could be very, very confusing to have 2 shows set in Gotham City that don't connect to each other. And then there could be a week where Batwoman's using like a villain or references a villain, and that Gotham Knights show is dealing with that villain or references it as well. They're on the same channel. People are going to think they're connected, but they're not. It could just be very, very confusing. So that could be the thing that actually, disadvantages Gotham Knights from actually being a thing, is the fact that Batwoman exists. But yeah, let's move on to something that we know is 150% happening, because it's coming out in a couple of weeks, and that is the new DCTV show of Naomi, which is a fairly, who is a fairly new character in the comics based off the amount of appearances, though it must be said that the next arc and story in her comic series is coming out sometime next year. I think it might be April or May or something like that. So that would probably be around the time the first season will finish airing on TV. And this first season is adapting a good amount of the story from that first arc of hers in the comics. But they did release various promo things for the show leading up to its release, including a trailer and some promo images. So I will show that trailer now before we jump into a quick discussion while I show the promo images on screen. But yeah, firstly, here is that trailer.
Better hurry, bell rings in 15.
If you let me get a car, you wouldn't have to worry about me being late. What's happening? Something happened to me. I could hear it, Annabelle.
Hear what?
Everything. You were there that day. Do you know what it was?
It may have something to do with people like us.
What are you talking about?
What you call an icon living?
Are you a superhero?
No.
I need you to listen to the vision. All your verses.
We need to get you ready.
I'm about to clean them in the kitchen.
I found the girl. Her powers are beginning to manifest.
I'm about to do it way different. I am just an icon.
You are exceptional.
I am just an icon living. I am just an icon.
Naomi, New series Tuesday, January 11th. Free next day on the CW app.
Now, with Naomi, the biggest difference that they are going with on the show is that she doesn't exist in a world with well-known heroes, you know, that are they're believed to be like fiction and mainly from comic books. Like Naomi reads comic books, she's a big fan of Superman and everything like that, which I do wonder whether that is a cover-up or not, as the trailer clearly shows a Superman fight going on, which is from the Naomi comics. So in the comics, Naomi is situated on Earth Prime. That's where she lives with like Superman, Batman, the rest of the Justice League. They exist there. It's Earth Prime. But she comes from an alternate Earth with powered people as well. She was actually brought over to Earth Prime as a child in order to protect her from Zumbedo, who is in the show and can be seen here. So how this season plays out in comparison to her story and origin from the comics is the thing that has been the most, has me the most intrigued. But also the style of the show looks pretty cool. I'm interested to see how that plays out in the long run. But they also released the synopsis for the premiere of Naomi, which I will go over now, just to wrap up the video. Naomi McDuffie is living her best life as a top student, skateboarder and Superman stan when a stunt in the middle of her hometown of Port Oswego turns her world upside down. While Naomi's doting parents, Greg and Jennifer McDuffie, are concerned with their parents' strange new fainting spells, the teen's closest friends, Annabelle, Nathan, Lourdes, Anthony, and Jacob, join Naomi to help uncover who or what is behind the unexpected event that has the small military town buzzing. A bit of sleuthing leads Naomi and her friends to discover that the owners of two local businesses, Dee and Zumbedo, remember that name, seem to know a lot more about the incident than everyone else. Soon, Naomi realizes that the mysterious event is just the beginning of a thrilling journey that will change her life and challenge her to question everything she knew to be true. So this makes the show sound like it's going to be like a very well, this is set in a small town, but it's all like a small town sort of mystery, maybe very similar to like Smallville. Not saying what like Smallville and Superman and Lois, but like Smallville the show could be very similar to that. Even like the trailer makes it look a bit of an indie thing as well. Like it's got an interesting style, and I'm intrigued to see how it plays out in the long run for this first season. Now, they of course do mention those two local business owners. We have Dee and Zumbedo. Now, Dee, by the sounds of it, is meant to be like an ally or something like that. And in the trailer, they do show that he's actually a Thanagarian. So like Hawkman and Hawkgirl, you know, that type of alien. So intrigued to see where that goes. From memory, is he? I don't think he's in the comic run. If he is, correct me. I don't think he is. So he's new for the show. Zumbedo is in the comics. He's like the antagonist in the comics, and he does have the ability to travel through dimensions, which is how he gets from the Earth that Naomi was originally from to Earth Prime. So I'm assuming that will be the same thing on this Earth, maybe, or sorry, on the show, maybe. He also has like super strength and energy projection powers, and they're sort of similar to what Naomi has as well. But we'll have to see what her powers are like when they develop on the show and whether they're like in the comics. Because I must say, she's pretty overpowered in the comics, and she's still developing them, and they're still explaining what she can and cannot do. So I wonder if the show will do that first. The show, I think, has the creator from the comic. I think Brian Michael Bendis is somewhat involved in the show, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Like, he might be in conversations with what's going on. But yeah, I'm excited to see how they progress through the story and progress Naomi as a character. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Naomi comes out in a couple of weeks, so get excited if you're looking forward to it. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like the video. If you want to let me know your various thoughts in the comment section down below, let me do all that. Always intrigued to read them. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.